Anyone familiar with the lives of the wealthiest knows that they are passionate investors who, to keep their fortunes growing, must avoid making poor financial decisions. Because of this, I've chosen to create this video in which I reveal the 5 investment options that millionaires avoid so that you too can become wealthy through wise financial choices. One of the finest methods to achieve success in life, and in investing specifically, is to mimic the actions of people who have already done so. Because of this, countless hours are devoted by thousands of people to researching the stock market methods of superstars like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. Ironically, these tycoons of finance also borrowed ideas and methods from their predecessors. For example, Benjamin Graham, who is also the author of the book The Intelligent Investor, served as a mentor to Warren Buffett and taught him about investing. Buffett is known for his success in the financial markets because he followed his predecessor's teachings. Benjamin Graham was noted for conducting meticulous and nearly clinical analysis of corporations' financial situations. Graham developed a profitable investing strategy based on his expertise and some straightforward practical logic. Investing is a complex art, and one of the most significant aspects to the process is determining which investments to avoid making. When you're seeking to build your wealth, you might be tempted to put your money into investments that are more conventionally thought of. The fact of the matter is that some of them can really end up costing you money over the long run, which is why you should steer clear of those options whenever possible. What types of assets should millionaires specifically steer clear of? First, cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin and other prominent cryptocurrencies have been the topic of widespread conversation over the past few years. Yet most billionaires still shy away from investing in them. To say that nobody ever became wealthy through cryptocurrency investment would be a lie. However, there aren't many of them. The lack of governmental oversight is a primary issue with cryptocurrencies. This implies there is no control over the company running them, which can be unsettling if you plan to spend a lot of money on these companies. Second, there's the issue of cryptocurrencies not being worth anything in and of themselves. Since their value is entirely speculative, it rises sharply whenever there is media attention focused on it, and falls if the attention wanes. In December 2017, when Bitcoin attracted absurd levels of publicity, the price of one Bitcoin soared to almost $17,000 US. However, as the focus of the discussion shifted away from Bitcoin, the price started to fall, and investors noticed that their once adored cryptocurrency was now dealing at just over $3,000, a year after it reached its highest value. Last but not the least, unlike traditional investments, cryptocurrencies can be easily stolen or hacked. According to the findings of a research conducted by the United States Department of Homeland Security, approximately 1/3 of all Bitcoin trading platforms have been subjected to some form of cyber attack at some point in time. When you consider all of these factors, together with the fact that cryptocurrencies do not generate income in the way that, say, rental property or dividend stocks do, it's easy to see why wealthy people shy away from cryptocurrencies as a major investment strategy. Second, bonds. Yes, bonds are held by the portfolios of many multi-millionaires. However, when trying to amass as much wealth as possible, millionaires typically steer clear of making investments of this kind. Bonds have a number of drawbacks, the first of which is that, on average, they offer far smaller returns than investing in equities would. In reality, the returns on several different types of bonds hardly keep pace with inflation, averaging only 3% each year. For instance, throughout the course of the previous 3 years here in the United States, the annualized rate of inflation has averaged 2%. Considering the low returns, bonds are indeed a poor choice for financial investment. In reality, bonds are a safer bet than the stock market and offer investors easy access to their money should they decide to sell. Plus, bonds typically pay interest, so they can be used as a source of passive income. Sadly, their poor returns make them more of a fortune protection measure than a wealth generation instrument, which is why billionaires typically steer clear of making sizable investments in this category. Third, rare metals. The sixth category of investments that a significant amount of wealthy individuals do not put their money into is metals, and more especially gold. I can see why some individuals would be interested in purchasing precious metals as an investment. In times of economic uncertainty, many people flock to gold and silver as a form of insurance. The reason for this is that the price of rare metals typically moves in the opposite direction of the stock market. To put it another way, whenever the price of equities and bonds falls, gold and other rare metals typically increase in value. Gold and silver prices fall in tandem with rising stock prices. Perhaps you're wondering if it isn't wise to have assets that can help you break even if you lose some money. Well, theoretically speaking, this makes complete and utter sense. However, when it comes to protecting yourself against economic downturns, precious metals aren't the best bet because their prices rarely rise by enough to compensate for the losses you'd incur. Another disadvantage of owning metals is that, similar to the majority of the various investment options that we've gone over in this video, they are very illiquid. This brings up yet another problem with having rare metals. Again, if you're in a tight spot financially and need cash, selling off these things may prove more difficult than you anticipate, putting you in a tight spot financially. The fact that investing guru Warren Buffett considers gold a bad bet should serve as more incentive to steer clear of it. Buffett frequently emphasizes how much more profitable equities have historically been than their rare metal counterparts, demonstrating his conviction that stocks make considerably better investments. Fourthly, corporations whose inner workings you can't quite grasp. By now, you've undoubtedly realized that while billionaires tend to favor equities as investments, not all equities are wise choices. This is due to the fact that many publicly traded companies are so sophisticated that the average investor has no idea what they do. Due to the inherent complexity of the stock market, even seasoned investors like Warren Buffett avoid investing in the majority of equities, especially those that he does not understand. Buffett is known for promoting the idea that investors should limit their portfolio holdings to businesses that are within their spheres of expertise, and he follows his own advice. Only companies that are included in his area of knowledge are taken into consideration for investment by him, as this is the area in which he has the most experience investing. Stocks are a great way to build wealth, but you should only put money into firms that you have researched and feel comfortable with. Fifth, antique collectibles. Millionaires also tend to stay away from the next common investment option, antiques. Artwork, relics, stamps, old vehicles, liquor, and comics are just a few examples of the many types of collectibles that bring in millions of dollars each. In 2012, the marketplace for collectibles was estimated to be worth $362 billion, and an analysis indicated that this industry will continue to expand annually. However, despite the fact that this rise is forecasted, millionaires are still reluctant to invest their money in antiques for a number of different reasons. To begin, there is no fixed value for antiques. Rather, their value is determined by the amount that a potential buyer is prepared to pay. Instead of having an actual monetary value that is linked with it, the worth of the object is determined by the amount that other people believe it to be worth. This is comparable to the way that cryptocurrency is valued. Therefore, no matter how much sentimental value you place on that painting, its market value will never exceed its asking price unless and until you find someone prepared to pay that price. The appraisal procedure is further complicated by the fact that, in contrast to equities and bonds, individual antiques typically have little publicly available information. The fact that antiques don't provide revenue is another reason why wealthy people don't invest in them. A painting may be pleasing to the eye, but it is not a particularly sound financial investment because it will not generate regular income. The lack of immediate cash value is a primary disadvantage of collecting as an investment. It takes a certain type of customer, for example, to be willing to spend a lot of money on a vintage vehicle. This means that if you wish to sell your antiques in order to recuperate some income, it may be some time before you obtain those funds. In conclusion, while amassing a precious antique collection can be entertaining, it is surely not the best financial decision. In conclusion, If you want to start investing like a millionaire, then you must avoid putting your money into cryptocurrencies, bonds, rare metals, corporations you're unfamiliar with, and finally, antique collectibles. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I truly appreciate it. Click the subscribe button down below if you wish to transition from the life you have right now to the life you truly desire.